Back to BFF Fantasy Football. Got Izhar and Adrian here.
Hello.
What's up, everyone?
All right, so we're back to making videos. It's Mock Draft Monday, and in this one we joined I think it's PPR, two running back, two receiver, one flex. It's just running back receiver league. And I have the second pick. What pick do you guys have?
I have the third.
I have
Third
the
pick.
seventh pick.
Seventh pick. Okay, and we're doing this on NFL Fantasy, which is I think where most people play fantasy football. This and Yahoo I think are the top two.
Yeah.
So we're just going down, looking at the rankings that they have set for the players. I don't know. I think Nick Chubb's a little high, but I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I'm not.
Is
I
not
think
high at all.
Eckler's too high.
Eckler's definitely. Eckler's very high. Saquon Barkley, I see why he's low. I mean, he had 15 points in 2 games. That's garbage. I mean, McCaffrey had 90 in 3 games. It's insane. We're just gonna go through and do a mock draft. Is there anything special you guys are gonna do with it, or?
I'll just see how the flow of the draft is going, depending on what I draft.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
I had a later draft pick, I would try and show like the viewers like a two receiver, like going late for running back, like a zero RB strategy, because I know that's something that
I
people
mean
do.
that is a tough strategy though.
It is, but it's something that people like to do. Adrian, what pick did you say you were? 10?
Yeah, I'm 10 in the actual league.
No, no, no. In this mock draft, are you 10?
So
Oh, in
seven,
this mock
seven,
draft,
seven.
I'm seventh pick.
You should do the zero RB strategy so we can kind of show what a team like that would look like. So like,
I can give it a shot.
yeah, just go like,
Depending on how it goes, I'll see
yeah.
if I'll get it.
But I think we should give it a shot. So obviously McCaffrey goes first. If you have this, and this is like an early, I guess me and Eyes are 2 and 3, so it's kind of a GG. But
Yeah.
in this pick, I mean, I don't think you overthink that one. Just go Dalvin right after McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Dalvin
Then
had
after that, the next guy, Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that. In the middle of the draft and in that late end of the draft, that's when it's interesting. I think
Yes. 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 Yes.
there's more. Nick Chubb goes fourth. So, yeah, kind of
It's
shook.
a
He went
little.
for
I
I mean,
Kamara.
he's pretty good. So I don't know why you have so much hate on Nick Chubb on that.
You have so much love for Nick Chubb. Austin Eckler.
Nick
Wow, that's
Chubb
Oh.
very
gonna be
early.
good.
Are you
So
gonna?
this right here, honestly, if I were picking seventh, I might just go with Davante Adams anyways, just because we know for a fact
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers is playing this year
Yeah.
in Green
Hmm.
Bay, and he was just insane last season. So, and I think Davante Adams is gonna keep it up, and
You don't like
he
any of
missed
the
some
running
games last
backs?
year, but now he's gonna be ready to go the whole season.
You don't like any of the running backs? Zeke, Aaron Jones,
I mean, I
Barkley.
I would have taken Saquon.
I mean, Saquon's a good pick there too, but since we're going through with the strategy of the two wide receivers, I want to.
Well, the way
I'll
the
say
most of the time for zero RB, you're not picking your running back till like round what 4? That's when they pick their running
Yeah.
back.
Which I did that last year, and look how that went.
Yeah, Izar. Just so everybody knows, Izar finished last in our league.
Yes. 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 A
Uh,
lot of
the
injuries, but yes.
I had the
the
number one team in the league until Nick destroyed us. But
Wow.
we
He
got
has,
destroyed by a Derrick Henry last year. Who just went off in the playoffs. So
and he
what are you
had
gonna do about
Stephon
that?
Diggs and
Yeah,
Deshaun Watson,
the super team pretty much.
and no one on his team got injured. So, all right, Najee Harris going 11th overall. That is insane.
That
His hype from the
is.
preseason games and the training camp and
I mean, I
everything
like
has
Najee.
blown it out of proportion.
Wow. Saquon Barkley going to the second round.
I don't see this happening in any draft, honestly. If you see
No.
Saquon Barkley, you have 10, 11, and 12, pick him up instantly. Don't even
Uh,
wait on
Yeah.
that. Like that is, you gotta pick him there.
I mean,
Mhm.
if Saquon's healthy all year, I mean, if he's healthy all year, oh wow, that guy,
Wow, really?
wow,
They're gonna let
Jonathan Taylor,
Saquon.
okay, that guy's also
So that
going.
that guy was going for no running back strategy.
Yeah, that guy's also going for no running back.
This
Okay,
guy got a
that
steal
guy
getting
got
Saquon
Tyreek
right
and
there. That is a
Barkley.
great
That's
pick. That is a
crazy.
great. That is an
So
amazing
these are
pick.
just mock drafts. You know, everyone knows that these are different. Oh, Kelsey won the second round. You know, he's literally been going in the
I
first
could
round
see
and
Kelsey
almost.
going in the second round. I mean, that's not a bad pick.
I don't know, but
I
I've seen
think
him go in the
that's
first
worth
round
three lads.
in almost every draft. I've seen Kelsey go in the first round. I've done tons of mock drafts. He's almost always in the first round.
If you get him early second round, that's good. That's good.
Oh, it's
Good
insane.
value right there. Best tight end in the league right there, and he can put up receiver numbers. So
All right,
right here,
props
I'm
to
gonna
you.
go with DeAndre Hopkins right here.
Yeah, let's go on the
He's
zero
a
RB
great wide
strategy.
receiver, always reliable receiver. I mean, if you have Devontae Adams and DeAndre Hopkins on your team, I mean, you're looking pretty good on the wide receiver end, honestly.
Oh,
There's
Darren
nothing to complain about that.
Darren Waller over Kittle. How do you feel about that?
That's
yeah.
not a good pickup. I would
No,
never do
no,
that. No,
no,
George
no, no.
I
Kittle
don't
is
know.
totally the way to go.
I think Darren Waller's in line to get a higher workload this year than we've seen in the past. And obviously George Kittle is a monster, and I think that he's probably the second best tight end in the league behind Kelsey. But
I just think the Raiders are gonna be horrible.
Darren Waller is a good player, a good pick. He gets his yards. He'll do what he does,
Okay.
which is getting like 50, 60 yards a game. But I still think Kittle just got like that Kelsey value where he can have like a 150-yard game or like 100-yard games with like 2 or 3
Yeah, and that's
touchdowns.
exactly where I'm going with.
Like it's just he's just such a good player. Like you got to pick him that early.
all
Like
right,
Yeah,
I would
he's.
never pick him over that.
Mhm.
right here in the second round, after the comes back on the clock, you still got Calvin Ridley staring at you in the face. You take him. Games without Julio Jones, his worst game last season, I think, if you're depending on how the scoring is set up in your league, was like 8 catches for 56 yards. I believe was his worst game without Julio. So he
Mhm.
comes through every week. And then you get the turn again. You can here at this point, seeing as how he's fallen to me, you have to. I mean, this league has two running backs. You go the other running back, you get yourself a Joe Mixon, pair him with Ridley and Cook. I mean, that's something that I mean, we've seen Joe Mixon kind of be disappointing every year, like not coming through. But I just have a feeling this year they upgraded a little bit on the offensive line. They have more weapons at wide receiver. It's going to open the running game up. I think Joe Mixon's a great play this year.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
and
he's a good play. Yeah.
right here I went with Scary Terry. I had the option of getting DeAndre Swift or J.K. Dobbins, which I like both of them, but on the teams they're in, I don't think they'll be getting the right amount of touches that I would like from running back.
Yeah,
I don't think J.K.
Like
Dobbins will because he's just a Ravens running back and
the
Ravens.
Ravens, even
Yeah,
DeAndre
like
Swift, I just think the Lions aren't really going to be good. They're going to be getting blown out early in games, and you're not going to be running the ball if you're getting blown out early in games.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I was gonna go DeAndre Swift right there, but he got picked before me,
Mhm.
so I might. What's it called? I'm gonna go for best value I can get right here, and I think I'm just gonna go with the boy Keenan Allen as a flex because Keenan Allen's, just I think Justin Herbert's going to take a leap this year, and Justin Herbert taking the leap and being like one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league is only going to make Keenan Allen a better wide receiver than he has been in his like better stats than he's had his entire career. I think he'll put up his best numbers this season.
Mahomes just went in
Yeah,
the third round, so Mahomes is going to go in a lot of drafts, second, third, and honestly, I I'm not mad at the pick of Mahomes right there because if you have Kelsey, I say snag him. Just do it. Just take your if you draft
yeah,
Kelsey in the first round, snag yourself Mahomes in the third, no big deal. If you draft Kelsey in the second round, get Mahomes in the third round. I mean, just that stack is so important, and if you can stack those two guys, it's huge. Like they're gonna give you consistent numbers every week. I mean,
yeah.
you know
And for
he,
anyone who doesn't really understand what a stack is, it's basically just having a quarterback and receiver from the same
yeah,
team, and it's basically you're basically getting double points
yeah.
every time there's a touchdown. You're like getting two touchdowns.
Take the
So that's what the stack is.
if you get the number one receiver on the team with the quarterback, that's a great stack. Always a great play,
Hmm.
especially for the
Yeah.
elite quarterbacks. What Russell Wilson and DK, Mahomes and Kelsey, Mahomes and Hill, honestly. Uh, who else? I mean, Lamar is obviously an elite fantasy quarterback, but I mean, receiver wise, like well, I guess Mark Andrews. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cooper Cup in the fourth round. I guess he's not a bad pickup because
You guys like that
he'd be
CeeDee
pretty
Lamb's going
good.
ahead of Amari Cooper?
I'm not a big fan. I
I
think
don't
the
know.
hype's a little too much on
All
CeeDee Lamb at
right,
the moment.
right here, I'm gonna pick out my boy Josh Allen
See right there
Okay.
fourth
for
round.
Team Seven, if you're doing the no RB strategy, I think it would have if Miles Sanders had fallen to you, Adrian. I bet like
I would
obviously
have taken
you
him.
pick
Yeah,
Miles Sanders in that spot. I think Mostert going in the fourth round is kind of insane to me
Mm.
because we don't know. I would stay away from any 49ers running back not
I
named Trey
saw
Sermon.
Miles Sanders gone, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna go my boy Josh Allen because he's. I mean, I got great receivers,
I mean,
and
yeah, you look
having
at the
Josh
T.
Allen
So
there is like he's insane.
if you're going zero RB strategy, you got Hopkins, Adams, and Keenan Allen, and then you pair him with Josh Allen. So you got potentially the number one fantasy quarterback and three guys that could all be the number one fantasy wide receiver. I mean, they could all be top
Yeah.
They
five.
could be top five. They could be 1, 2, and 3. Honestly,
And
Like,
so there's a couple of running backs at the moment that I like here. However, since I'm going to be coming back around real soon, I'm just going to take the quarterback here and Lamar Jackson, just his running
yeah, I mean,
no,
quarterback
yeah, he's great
upside.
quarterback for that. Yeah, I
all
mean,
right.
he's
Yeah.
gonna get you all the fantasy points and stuff that you
So
want.
it drops
And
to me here, and I'm doing more of a standard thing, like with two RBs and the receiver.
Hmm.
So I would go wide receiver here probably, because I mean, obviously, I think best value is the best thing you can do. But right here, there's not anyone I really like that much. But if I would go receiver, and I would probably go Deontay Johnson because the target share that
I
he
like it.
received in Pittsburgh when he was healthy was ridiculous.
No, yeah,
He's their number one receiver,
I
no doubt. Like I'm sorry,
oh,
Juju,
for
mhm.
sure, you know, Deontay Johnson is the number
move over
one.
Claypool.
He's the best on the team.
All right, so right
Mhm.
here, if any of the top five quarterbacks were available, obviously they're all gone. I mean, Russell Wilson's still
Yeah,
here, and he's a great quarterback. But the top five quarterbacks fantasy value are, I mean, we all know who they are. So
yeah.
at this
Like,
spot
I
right
wouldn't take a
here,
quarterback for a bit right now. I'd wait till like round 7 at this point,
yeah, at this
unless
point,
you're
if you
really
don't get
high
any
on
of
like
these
a
top
Justin
five
Herbert and you want
guys,
to
yeah,
get him. So
I mean, if you draft
Okay.
yourself a Keenan Allen, you can take yourself a Herbert
Hmm.
and then stack that.
So here, this is where I'm gonna get Josh Jacobs. This is where I want my second running back, and
Mhm.
I'm in between Josh Jacobs and Myles Gaskins. I notice how Tua really likes throwing out of the backfield, and for that reason, I'm actually gonna take Gaskin.
Gaskin, yeah, that's a good pickup. I
Yeah,
was actually gonna take Gaskin if you wouldn't have taken Josh Jacobs right now.
Gaskin took that
yeah.
drop because of how they were playing
They were
the
talking about yeah, they're talking about making
three RB system. But
uh
this last
yeah,
preseason game, this by the way, this video is recorded after what is it, week two of the
week 2 of the
preseason?
preseason.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
we've seen two games from the Dolphins, and this game, Gaskin got the workload. So
Yeah, and I think that's gonna be the case for most of the season,
So right
unless
here,
Gaskin gets hurt.
I'm going with Josh Jacobs right here. I mean, he's the best running back available, and
Uh-huh.
he's
yeah,
solid. The Raiders are gonna run the ball. He's gonna get you points. He's a solid running back, and
they are gonna
he could do
use.
better than you before. I think he'll have a bounce back year from last season. He didn't have a bad year last year, but I think he'll have a better year than he did
Nah,
last year for sure. Closer to
I,
his rookie season.
they did, however, just keep in mind they did add Kenyon Drake, and they paid Kenyon Drake, so that could be a factor in the
I
backfield.
think it's just going to be more of a taking a load off of Josh Jacobs because he's had injury. Like he's been injured his rookie year, and he was injured last year too for a bit. So I think
Yeah.
it's just taking the
Well,
load off of him a bit.
yeah, and the whole big reason for him even dropping is the fact that uh, the Raiders' offensive line has taken a major hit.
Yeah,
They have.
But at the same time, he's still a workhorse. He will still run the ball, and he's still going to be their main
He's
back.
going to get a bunch of touches too. So
Yeah,
I mean, he's the best available running back right there.
yeah,
And
yeah.
if
Best
you were
available.
going like this strategy with
yeah,
the wide receivers, that's a good running back you'll get right there for sure.
easily. You go
Hmm.
the no RB strategy. You grab yourself a Josh Jacobs in the fifth round. That's, I mean,
So
I
right
think, yeah,
here,
everyone would be happy with that.
I'm thinking through right here with what I want to pick at this pick. I think I might go with Kyle Pitts actually.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
I
I
think it's
like
a,
Kyle
I
Pitts.
like
I
Kyle
think he's
Pitts.
and this sixth round for Kyle Pitts. I mean, you want to wait that long for a tight end after you get the top 3 guys. Honestly, fifth or sixth round, just don't draft any fourth or fifth or anything. Just get a decent wide receiver, get a decent running back, and then worry about the tight end later.
Agreed. Agreed.
Um,
And right here, I am actually going to take a bit of a flyer, and I'm gonna go for just Jamar Chase. I want to see, what
or
that,
Chase, okay.
yeah, I want to see what that duo can do, between
Burrow and
Burrow,
Chase.
Burrow and Chase
They haven't
is
played
his guy.
together in the preseason yet. I don't
Yeah,
think
All
Joe
right.
Burrow's
preseason.
going to
All
play
right.
at all because he's
No,
coming off the
no,
injury.
he
But
won't. Yeah.
we'll see how it is week 1. But I like
Mhm.
Jamar Chase. I think he's a stud, and I think he'll have a good season as long as Joe Burrow comes back 100% Joe Burrow. I think he'll have a good year.
All right.
I
So
mean,
I
there
went.
is another receiver that I like, so
Yeah.
Hmm
which I could hold off a bit.
I went for Javante right here because he's my fourth running back taken, and he can sit on my
Okay.
bench. And I think if he comes in and becomes a starter at any point for Denver, I think he's just going to have a really solid year for a rookie.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yes. I'm a
so
big fan of Devontae.
here in the seventh round, I could go QB, and obviously, I think the best one available, Russell Wilson. Like him falling in the seventh round is a little ridiculous to me. But I understand the concerns because the beginning of the season he was great, and then he always drops off. But in the seventh round, you're not going to find a better value than Russell Wilson.
Okay, here, it's kind of like hidden further down, but I really like this guy. He's a receiver from the Jets, and it's Corey Davis.
Oh,
The
Corey
amount of
Davis, yeah.
targets he has been getting this
He
preseason,
ran
not
he
preseason,
ran
but
14 routes in the two preseason games he's played. He is,
mhm.
I believe
I
it's
think he
14.
could
He's been
be,
go ahead.
yeah, I think he could be a solid wide receiver number two for many teams, and he's someone you could get later in the rounds because no one's thinking of him.
That's not a bad pickup at all. I think he's a good pick. Right here, I was thinking, I love my guy James Robinson a lot, but I'm scared that Jacksonville's not going to use him that much, especially since they got the
I
Mahomes.
like James
So
Robinson. I think people are
I'm gonna
overhyping
go with
ETN.
James Robinson because I am a little afraid because how Jacksonville drafting the running back in the first round. But I mean, James Robinson, like, there's no way they won't use him after what he did last year. He was their only weapon last year on offense,
Yeah, I
and
think
he's a
people
workhorse
are.
running back.
This was recorded before Jacksonville takes the field tonight to see how they play with their starters. But I think people are overhyping ETN, and I think James Robinson's going to be used more than people realize. Not as much as last year, but I still think he can be a very viable RB2. Like in this system, the zero RB strategy that Adrian's done, where he's got himself Josh Jacobs, Kyle Pitts, James Robinson. Those are high upside players, and then he pairs those with three phenomenal wide receivers. Like this is not a bad draft strategy if you do it correctly. I think the way Adrian's done it, I think it looks perfect. I don't know how you guys feel, but I mean, I think it
Like
looks great.
I'm watching. I mean, I was watching the Saints game right now, and so far James Robinson's been starting for the Jaguars in their first drive with the starters right now. He's been playing the most snaps, so I'm pretty sure Urban Meyer is going to want to use him as RB1 for at least the whole season because I mean, we saw last year how talented he was.
The running backs that are available around this spot, James Robinson's easily the best one. I don't think
Yeah.
there's any way you can say that he's not. So back to the Corey Davis thing though, I did want to say that I saw some stat where he ran, I believe, 12 or 14 routes this preseason. He's been targeted on 10 of those. So he's
Yes,
easily Zach Wilson's favorite target, and Zach
favorite
Wilson's
guy.
looking good. Zach
Yeah,
Wilson's looking good. So
I like
mm-hmm.
Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson's looking really good.
Yeah,
And
and
right here, let's see. I'm gonna get a little bit of a stash player right here. I'm gonna get Michael Carter.
damn
yeah,
it.
I mean you got your
Yeah.
two
I
running
like
backs
Michael
already.
Carter. I like Michael Carter a lot on the Jets, and I've seen stuff saying that he's probably going to be the Jets starting running back this season. So I think
I
he's a
loved
great
it
player.
when the Jets drafted him. I thought, he's
Hmm
gonna be that guy.
Yeah, I know Izer's a little bit high on him, so I know he's still his guy. But I mean, Michael Carter's a good
Also,
player. He's a
right
good pick.
now the auto pick is picking kickers and defense. Obviously, like we said before, don't do that until the last like 4 rounds
Uh,
of the draft.
yeah. And here I'm gonna be taking, it's a guy where he has potential to be up there, Michael Thomas.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I
It's,
would have waited until I don't know. I'm not high on Thomas. I don't think he's gonna play this year. I think it's gonna be like kind of like a weird Antonio Brown situation. So personally, I would tell people to stay away. That's just me though.
Mhm. I have
Um,
him
I don't
on
know.
my bench at
I
the
mean, Michael
moment.
Thomas is still one of the best wide receivers in the league, but it's just with
Yeah.
that injury, you just don't know. But it's most of the stuff is saying he's going to be back by like October, like around Halloween time. So if you stash
Yeah.
him and keep him in your
Yeah,
bench
he's
or
there.
reserve,
Yeah.
he can win you a league. Like you can win you the league later in the season in the playoffs. So
Yeah.
okay.
I was gonna get Michael Carter, but you got him.
I
You
mean, I
got
had to
him.
get Michael Carter just to. He's got great potential, and I like him.
All
I
right,
like what I've seen from him so far.
late in the draft, give me DJ Chark. Him falling this far, the number one receiver on the Jaguars offense. Give me DJ Chark in the ninth round. Not saying he's gonna have an insane breakout year, but he'll have a really solid year. He could be a flex play potential weeks. He could come in on the bye weeks for Deontay and Ridley. Play great.
Yeah, and someone who this is more of is another stash who I love is Trey Sermon
Oh
for
yeah,
the Niners. I think he's gonna be the next guy up.
I was looking
I
at
was actually
Sermon to
looking
draft
at
him
him
right
right
there.
now.
Yeah,
Actually, I
I
would have
feel
picked
like
him
the
if you
ninth
didn't pick
round
him.
might still be too high for my liking. I wouldn't pick Trey Sermon that high, just because we don't know when he's gonna start. Not if he's gonna start, but when. Because I think he will
Twin, yeah.
play,
And
but
then
Hmm.
we
for
do
my
not know
pick right
when.
here, I'm gonna
Yeah,
go with Cameron Sutton. I know he's kind of been
Cortland.
forgotten, or Cortland Sutton. My bad,
Portland
Cortland
Sutton,
Sutton.
the
Yeah,
receiver for the
I know.
Broncos.
Yeah, the receiver for the Broncos. I know he's been
Uh-huh.
kind of forgotten a little bit because and he's been injured. He didn't play all last season with the ACL. But the year before that, he was a really good wide receiver. Like him and Drew Lock were like connecting, and he was getting like 20, 25 points a game. I remember I had him on my team, and he was doing really good. I like Cortland Sutton a lot. I think he's a great player. And then whoever starts there, I mean Teddy Bridgewater, he and Robbie Anderson were connecting last season. So
Oh yeah,
I think Cameron Sutton's a good pickup. I think people are sleeping
Portland,
on him a little bit because
Cortland
they
Sutton.
Portland
they've
Sutton.
forgotten
Cortland
about him.
Sutton.
Or Cortland Sutton, my bad. I keep
The
I
boy
keep
got a
mixing him
crush
up
on
with that corner
Cameron.
for the Steelers.
Oh yeah.
That's my
Well,
bad. But Cortland Sutton,
I'm
yeah.
a big fan of Cortland Sutton. The only issue is that I'm guessing the reason that he's dropping this much is because that year there was no Jerry Judy. This time around there's a
Hey,
Jerry Judy there.
there is a lot of value in these last couple rounds. In most people's drafts, I don't know, they might be playing in home leagues and stuff. You're probably going to see your friends take kickers and defenses in like the eighth round because what they're doing is they're trying to fill out their roster. They're like, oh, I still need a kicker and a defense. Like, let me go ahead and draft that right now in like the eighth
Yeah,
round. Like,
they want to get their starters in
yeah,
already.
Right
That's
yeah.
why. Yeah,
right here, I'm actually gonna go with I think I'm gonna go with I like I like Devontae Parker. I'm surprised he's dropped this far,
Mhm.
honestly. I thought he'd be drafted a lot higher
It's
than
just
this.
because
And the
Jalen Waddle.
rankings have him really low, but I think I mean I mean Devontae Parker's I mean he had like what 130 yards in Gilmore on the season he was doing like really good. Like Devontae Parker's a really good wide receiver.
he
And
is.
like
I
if
think
Tua
people just
takes the
don't
takes the
trust
lead,
Tua.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, if Tua, I mean, it's a little bit of a risky pick because of Tua, but if Tua takes the leap this year, I mean, Devontae
yeah.
Parker is going to see a lot of production in fantasy.
By all
Agreed.
accounts, Devontae or Tua's looked great in camp. So
Oh, that
Hmm.
preseason game against the Bears, he's thrown some pretty good passes in that game. I liked what I saw from
Oh
him.
yeah, he's been good. And since the last pick I chose Trey Sermon, I'm actually going to go with Melvin Gordon here because the same reason what you said is that Trey Sermon is a when he'll get on the field. Melvin Gordon will get on the field early in the year.
Oh yeah, he's starting for sure, but for how long, who knows? Because
Exactly.
Williams is there too, and
Hmm.
I like him a lot. I
I
mean,
like Javante as well, but
Javante's pretty
this
good.
late draft, I'll take Melvin Gordon, who's a starter at the moment.
It's not a bad pickup.
all right,
Mhm.
so it comes back to me, and we are looking at probably our how many rounds are left? One, two, three, four. Okay, so I'm probably gonna go backup quarterback here because everyone needs a backup quarterback, and obviously I like Burrow, I like Hurts, I like Lawrence, I like Watson. Only if Watson plays, but I'm gonna take a flyer on Trey Lance because uh,
The Trey area.
I like those other guys, but I think Lance will play at some point in the season. Same thing with Trey Sermon, and Lance has looked. I mean, he's looked like he's got the most talent out of all the rookie quarterbacks. So I would take Lance as a flyer. Obviously, I don't think he'll ever play over Russell Wilson, but
Yeah.
just in
And
case.
this is where I'm gonna take a stack in Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
I like that.
Burrow's fallen a lot since the reports in camp. He's not looked like he is favoring his knee a lot. He's
Yeah, I
not
think
looking
there's a
very
lot of
confident.
mental stuff going on at the moment. But
Yeah.
And right here, I'm gonna pick a tight end. I'm gonna go with Gesicki. I like Gesicki a lot. I
Oh,
think
Gesicki
he
falling
looked
this far is
really
not
good.
bad.
He looked
That's great
really good in
value.
the preseason. In the Bears game, I liked what I saw from Gesicki. Him and Tua's connection was pretty good. And
Yes.
I mean, I'm surprised he's falling this far too. Honestly, like I have him as a backup tight end. Like that's a pretty good pickup. You can trade him at any
Someone you
point
could
this
even
year if
play
you
in the
want.
flex at some point. So.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm shook that like Gesicki don't. I mean, if you see him like earlier than round 11, you don't have a tight end. Pick him up in like the eighth and seventh or eighth round. Like he's a good player.
Yeah, Tua likes throwing to his tight ends. The Dolphins like throwing to tight ends overall, and
Hmm.
he's their best one.
It is too good. He's too good of a player to have fallen that far.
Right there,
Agreed.
team
Right
8. I
here,
like. Hold on. I want to say the Tony Pollard thing. I like that they picked Pollard because they drafted Zeke in the first round, and it's good to have your handcuffs. Take the handcuffs for your number one running backs you draft in the first round.
Hmm.
and then right here, I'm gonna go with the backup quarterback. And honestly, I might just go with. I'm gonna go with my boy Trevor because I like Trevor. But obviously, I got Josh Allen, so Trevor Lawrence only gonna play like one game, maybe potentially the whole season. But I mean, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, he looked okay in his first preseason game. He's still getting into the flow of the NFL season and stuff, and I think he'll learn throughout the season and get better. So obviously, you don't want to start him over Josh Allen at any point in the season at all, only in the bye week, which in this case for Josh is like bye week 7. So you got more than enough time to play Trevor Lawrence.
Agreed. And here I'm going to be taking the Raiders' number one receiver, and that is Henry Ruggs.
Hmm. I mean, if he can take a step up, he's a good pickup because he's got the speed and everything. So,
Yeah, and overall he's that number one guy for them, you know.
hmm,
So getting this late in rounds, someone who's going to be on the field constantly.
I like the
All right,
pickup. I
so it's
like
the
it.
last 3 rounds. I have to go kicker defense at a backup tight end. I'm
Mhm.
probably gonna go. Let's see what defense is available. I'm gonna pick the Buccaneers defense, best one available. They're gonna have a solid year, a lot of sacks. Not much more can be said about the Bucks defense that hasn't already been said.
Yeah,
Brought back all their
I mean, it's Tampa
starters,
Bay,
so
so
yeah.
they're a good defense.
Kicker, just go that last pick. Kicker does not matter. Will not win you a game unless he has like freaking 25 points or something. It's not
He's
gonna
like a
happen.
young Oku from last season.
And
Or
here
young
I'm
Oku.
gonna be taking the Patriots defense.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I mean,
it's Patriots defense. Bill Belichick. They will. They're gonna be way better than they were last year.
Yeah,
oh
they
yeah,
got
I
they got
mean,
back all their players
Patriot
back and
defense. I
everything.
mean, they're great defense no matter. Like Bill Belichick's always going to sport a
Wow,
competitive
Devin
defense no
Singletary
matter
went in
what.
the 13th round. Keep an eye on that. That's all I'm saying. He's looked great in the preseason so far.
Right here, I'm a little bit of a homer, but I'm gonna go with my Bills defense because
Okay.
I like the pass rush that they added in the draft. They added depth
Yeah,
to their pass rush this season, and that's really gonna help the back end. And already have good corners. I mean, one of the best corners in the league, Tre'Davious White, and their safeties are really good too. So I think they'll be better than they were last year for
Matt
sure.
Milano in the middle.
Yeah,
Not bad. Deshaun Watson. I
Edmonds will
mean,
be better, I
I
think.
would if Deshaun Watson's there in the 13th round, just draft him. 14th round, and you don't have a backup quarterback, just draft him. If he ends up playing this season, his upside is going to be you're going to have a top 5 quarterback in fantasy football.
I thought about Deshaun Watson over Trevor Lawrence, but I just didn't like. You just don't know about what's gonna happen with that. So
Yeah, I
I
understand. I
mean, if you
mean,
could stash him, honestly, because
if
you
you
can
can
trade
fit,
him too.
if you think that you're fine with stashing him on your roster, and and you're okay with your starter playing, and you don't think that he's going to get injured or anything, just take Watson and just hold on to him because you never know. He could be insane trade value at some point in the season because he's going to play as a top 5 quarterback if he plays.
Oh yeah, and I mean last year he was top 5, and no matter how bad the Texans are, he's gonna be a top 5 no matter what.
Agreed.
Yeah, this is the end of the draft. We're just really going for your end bench pieces. Like I drafted Madison, backup running back for the Vikings, because I did
Vikings.
draft Dalvin Cook with the second pick of the draft. So Madison's
Yeah.
just my handcuff, just in case anything
And
happens to Dalvin Cook. I have Madison there.
I mean, You don't really pick like a backup kicker, I guess. But I'm not going to. I'm not gonna pick a kicker. I'm gonna pick Cole Beasley right here.
Okay.
Fair enough. As long
He's
as
a
he plays
good, yeah. I mean, good slot receiver and stuff. So he's
very good
one
slot
of the best
receiver.
slot receivers in the league last year. Almost had 1,000 yards. So
Hmm.
Yeah, he could be
Cole
a sneaky
Beasley.
play if they play against the really bad defense, Cowboys. Then he could have a great game.
Yeah. And then here I'm gonna go with kicker. I'm gonna go with Harrison Bucker, a team that's gonna put up points.
That's all you
And
want
that's
from a
mainly what
kicker.
you're looking for.
Team that puts up
You're
points, go
looking for a
for him.
good offense.
Yep.
So I'm gonna draft kicker last. So in this round, this pick, I have between Laviska Shenault or Terrence Marshall. Like them both. I like them both, but I'm gonna go with Laviska because I believe that Terrence Marshall is kind of a little bit underneath the other guys on the depth chart. He'll be used kind of as like a field stretcher, if anything. So he won't be getting as much targets down in that like maybe next year, sure, but this year I can't see myself drafting him.
Yes.
And
I wait
then
off on that.
with this pick, I'm going kicker. Just got to go for a team that's going to score the ball a lot, and I think Seattle is probably the best one that's available between Chicago, New Orleans, Denver, Houston. Houston.
Yeah. And here, I'm gonna take Mike Williams. I love Mike Williams, and if I get him final pick,
Yeah,
Justin Herbert's gonna air the ball out,
Justin Herbert's going to
and
air the
Mike
ball out.
Williams is their deep.
Second, he's their second guy. I mean, they also
He's their second
lost.
guy, but he is their deep guy though.
Yeah,
He
and
is their
they
deep guy, and I
lost
think he's
Hunter
a very good
Henry,
too.
so
Hmm.
that's. I mean, obviously, honestly, Evan Ingram last round. Hey, he could turn
I
some
saw, I
heads this
saw
year.
that too. I saw that too.
Don't sleep
I'm
on
gonna go
Evan.
with the Chargers kicker because I think the Chargers are gonna score
I'm
a lot
just
of
gonna
points.
say
I
that I
like
think Evan Ingram's a little bit of a sleeper. He was a Pro Bowl tight end last year,
He
and
did not deserve that Pro Bowl nod.
hey,
Tunyon should have had that,
Pro
but
Bowl tight end,
because Tunyon had like 10 touchdowns last season, and Evan Ingram had one,
Pro Bowl tight end. Can't take that away
didn't
from him.
deserve it.
A lot
He
of
was
tight ends are
very
going late.
undeserved.
These tight ends that are going late, honestly, have better value than some of the ones that went earlier.
I mean,
Like
look at some players still available at the moment. You have guys like Damian Harris, who's gonna be the number one running back
Oh,
for the.
Damian Harris he looked good in the Eagles game,
I mean,
and they
to be
played.
fair, all of the New England running backs look good in those games.
I mean the
But
Patriots offensive line is really good. Like
it is,
they
it
are
is.
really good. Like if you can get Damian Harris late in the rounds, I'd pick him up because I think
I'd
he's gonna
pick
have
him
a
up
good
as well.
season.
Yeah.
all right, so this is gonna close in like 15 minutes because of some time to go through the picks that we made and some of the strategies. I do want to say, like you're saying about the players available, like look, the guy that drafted McCaffrey first overall did not get his handcuff in. Where is he at? Chuba Hubbard. Chuba Hubbard. Uh,
Hmm.
Obviously, we don't think McCaffrey's gonna get hurt, but if you're a guy, you might not even, maybe don't take the handcuff for your running back. Take the handcuff for somebody else's running back. Like the guy that's got McCaffrey, you can take Chuba Hubbard, hold on to him.
Someone who gets hurt
If
quite
McCaffrey gets hurt,
frequently.
they're gonna want him. I mean, Dave, like you said, Damian Harris is here. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean
Take a
he's gonna
flyer on
be
Salvon Ahmed if he ends up playing.
Salman Ahmed. Yeah.
I don't like how that McCaffrey, the guy who drafted McCaffrey, has ETN starting in his lineup. I don't think that's good at all.
Well, we'll see. I mean, he could play a flex. He doesn't. I mean, he's got Clyde Edwards-Helaire with McCaffrey, Allen Robinson, Brandon Ayuk. Oh wow, I guess his flex would have to be Malcolm Brown. Also, he okay. Don't draft David Johnson. He's not the starter. He's not even close. He's like the third string running back in Houston's offense, and Houston's offense is going to be awful.
Awful. Yes.
Um,
Couple players here that see. I mean, Cam Newton, I believe, is gonna have a good year. It just
I just don't know how long he's gonna
how
start
long
is
he's
the
gonna
thing.
start. Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Mac Jones has been looking. I
He's
mean,
been
he's
good.
looking pretty good in the
He's been
preseason.
good.
Like I
But
think he's looking better than Cam. Like I would, if I was in New England, I might
so
go be looking at Mac
Cam
Jones.
Newton's been good though, and thing is with Cam Newton, what they have been showing in the preseason is obviously is that his ability to run, which
Yeah,
is
that's
gonna
true.
end during the season.
But I
Uh,
don't know. Mac Jones, he was looking good. He was looking good though. I like him.
hey, tight ends. If you look at ones that weren't drafted, Logan Thomas went undrafted. Tyler Higbee went undrafted.
Jared Cook went
Jared Cook went
undrafted.
undrafted. Hunter Henry went undrafted. Hunter's gonna miss some weeks, but you can put him on your team as a tight end number two. I say go for
Yeah,
it.
Dawson Knox won a drafted.
Dawson Knox, yeah.
No, I wouldn't look at the Dolphins
I
I
like
mean,
mean,
that.
even Gerald Everett is
you know,
Seattle,
Seattle
yeah.
usually they use their tight ends.
I was surprised that I was able to draft Noah Fant in the eighth round. I assume that's just because people aren't high on Drew Lock, but I mean, he looked fine in
No,
his
but
preseason games. He didn't look
no,
terrible.
yeah, yeah, he's been good. And plus, now with the competition there, he's gonna have to step up. If he does, this is his last year. Doesn't step up, and goodbye.
Yeah.
That's
Simple as
it. Yeah,
that.
that's it. That's it for him.
I personally think that Hawkinson should have gone before Kyle Pitts or Mark Andrews because he's literally the only guy they have. I think they lost Kenny Galladay. Who else they lose? Marvin Jones. And I
Marvin
believe
Jones,
I
yeah.
believe they made up for, I want to say it was like there was another guy and they made up for like 300 targets or something like that, something crazy, like 180 targets that are now gone from that offense that are vacated. You really think those are all
Mm.
going to go to Amon-Ra St. Brown? Like no, they're
So that's gonna split between Amon-Ra St. Brown, obviously,
Hawkinson's
Hawkinson.
going to get even more
Uh,
targets.
you're gonna have a guy like Terrence Marshall. No, not Terrence Marshall. Terrence Williams
Mm.
gonna come up a
I
bit.
I just think Hawkinson's going to have his numbers have only gone up every year he's been in the league, and for him, I don't know why he's falling so far. I get that people don't like Jared Goff and Detroit's not going to be very good this year, but
I think that's
they're
just the main reason they don't trust Detroit.
they're gonna have to throw the ball. It's not like their defense is good, and I think Hawkinson is a great pick, and he's falling in a lot of drafts like far, and I just don't know the reason for it either. Like I just don't get it. Like after Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, uh, I would put Hawkinson like at 4, and then Mark Andrews, and then Kyle Pitts right at 6. But that's just me.
I would, yeah, yeah. I like Hawkinson. I think he's very good. It's just the same thing. It's just Detroit, honestly. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but it's fall for him to fall the way he fell is it's still, I drafted a tight end, George Kittle, so I didn't care who was it.
Yeah, that's true.
But had I not had George Kittle and had to draft later in the rounds, he's obviously one I would for sure look at
Hmm.
because he's getting
Easily,
his
yeah.
targets. He's getting his targets for sure.
So
Who
I
knows if he'll get the same amount of touchdowns, but he'll get his targets.
I think the way Adrian did the zero RB strategy, because we were kind of trying to show people. So like Izhar did like running back, tight end. I went running back, receiver. I think running back, receiver is a more common one.
Yes, yes.
And
I
then
think tight end has kind of, surfaced within this last year.
yeah, I think no big. I mean, to me, it's great if you can nag yourself a Kittle and a guy like Derrick
Mhm.
Henry. I mean, that's it's
Yeah,
insane
yeah.
right there. And then but so I think the way Adrian did the zero RB strategy was perfect because, like I said, he's got 3 receivers that are upside to be receiver one. He's got
Hmm.
a quarterback that's going to be quarterback 1 through 3 if he stays healthy all year. And then you got high upside plays in Jacobs and Robinson. I don't think Adrian could have done that any better. And then with Michael Carter on the bench, what if he starts having a breakout year? What if he
Yeah,
starts
yeah,
playing really good? What if he's the James Robinson of this year?
He could
uh,
be, honestly. He could be.
could be. The only issue is that I probably wouldn't do a receiver strategy in this type of draft
I
because of how important running backs are with the two running back sets.
I think the only reason it worked for me this time around is just because it was a mock draft and the computers, people leave and the computers
Mhm.
drafted half the time.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
I mean, if you can
But
get a team like this and like a two receiver, I mean, you did it the best you could,
yeah,
honestly.
yeah. No, no. Yeah, say that you do this in a different type of format, it's gonna work. I just believe in two running back sets, you need to have two starting running backs for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think the best strategy is to go either running back, or running back wide receiver, or
Yeah.
if you can get it like a running back and one of the top tight ends like Travis
Hmm.
Kelce or Kittle, and that's
Yeah,
it. Like those two only.
what you want to draft at the end of the day is that you're looking at the scarcity between positions.
Also, it depends on your league.
Hmm.
Everyone's league is different. Like this league
Different.
has two
Yes,
running
agree.
back sets, and they have the flex spot. So the running back spot is extremely important. You can play up to
Extremely. And yeah, and that's all I'm saying is that in this format that we're doing at the moment with the two running backs, is that I probably wouldn't have done the wide receiver. I know we're doing this just for to show on
yeah.
what we would do if we were drafting, but it all depends on your type of format that you're doing in your own drafts.
Also, to me, I feel like don't get caught. I think after the first round, if you're in a two running back system, it's very easy to go uh, running back in the first round, and then in the second round you see a guy like Justin Jefferson or Calvin Ridley, and those are the receivers, and then running backs you have like Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like Antonio Gibson, DeAndre Swift. You're like, oh, I don't really like any of those guys. Let me take myself Calvin Ridley, and then it's just like becomes
Mhm.
a slippery slope of third round. You got, oh man, Keenan Allen's right there. I'm gonna nag him. Oh man, fourth round. Wow, Amari Cooper's here. I'm gonna nag him. And it just keeps going and going. You just fall in the slippery slope of just drafting wide receivers over and over because there is such good value at wide receiver.
That's the thing is that you got to look at the scarcity of positions. Running backs, usually teams only run out with one running back, while a team will run out with three different wide receivers. So
Yeah,
there's a lot more receivers in this league than there are good running backs,
yeah, for
and
sure.
that's what you have to look at.
Like you have to almost stop yourself. Like obviously in this draft, I was able to get Dalvin Cook and Joe Mixon. I don't think Joe Mixon will be available in a lot of people's drafts in the after the second round. I think Joe Mixon's a second round running back. I think he has the upside to be an RB1. I mean, he great RB2 play. But if I hadn't gotten him, J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, okay, those guys are okay, but I would prefer someone like Mixon. But let's say I drafted a receiver, like I had picked Scary Terry right there, CeeDee Lamb,
Mhm.
and then next round, I mean, Deontay Johnson's value is just too good to pass up, and then your second running back, someone like Mike Davis. Not that Mike Davis is bad, but he's probably not going to have 1,100 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, 30 catches. He's not going to do all that.
No, no, no.
No, he won't do any of that, honestly. I mean, it's just at the end of the day, you want to have one running back that you know is going to be really good on your team, at least.
Yeah, you
It
won't.
has
Yeah,
the upside to be good.
And if you do like the strategy Adrian did, where you go zero RB, because that's becoming more and more of a thing nowadays. You do that, your running back picture honestly gonna have to be upside running backs. Like that's why Adrian went with Jacobs. He's upside because he's fallen so far in drafts because they added Kenyon Drake, and the offensive line is different. So we don't know how the Raiders are gonna look. So Josh Jacobs has fallen, but he could have the same year he did last year, and top 15 running back right there. That's a great pick in the fifth round. And then with James Robinson running with the ones, because ETN's getting all the hype. I mean,
yeah,
that's
agreed. You're getting, you're buying low for a higher ceiling on these
yeah, and
guys.
that's what you're gonna have to
Hmm.
do if you don't draft a running back in the first round. I'm not saying you have to. If you don't draft one in the first or second round, though, that's what you're gonna be looking for. You're gonna be looking for guys that could go out there and have like their high ceiling, or they're pretty much, I wouldn't say boom or bust, but
No, 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 no. I wouldn't say they're boom or bust because you're obviously you're drafting them on the lower rounds.
yeah,
So, but
They just have
no,
potential to be a top 10 running back in this season.
yeah,
You want to look for someone like that.
guy that's gonna get the rushes in the backfield and has potential to catch the ball out of the backfield. I think every year Jacobs has gone up in receptions, and
yeah.
I mean that's something you want to look for. Just look at their tendencies. Obviously, someone like Zeke has been on a downhill climb recently. He's not been looking the best, but I still think he's the guy that you draft in the first round. Same with Barkley. It's insane to me he fell in the second round.
Yeah, no, I don't. To me,
I would have
he's
taken Barkley at 7 if I wasn't going with this strategy, but
see,
if I went with it, I would have went Barkley.
I'm taking Barkley any day over Eckler.
Taking him over
I think
Chubb.
I probably would. I would have Barkley around the 4 or 5 pick
Hmm.
Because
personally.
Barkley's potential could be RB1.
RB1 exactly.
There's only a few
He's
guys
like
in the
Big
league
Papa.
that have RB1 upside, and that's guys that catch the ball out of the backfield. And PPR formats: McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Barkley. I mean, you
Yeah.
can. I think. I mean, guys that are fighting for
There's
RB 3 to 5 are guys like Aaron Jones, Zeke, Eckler, because those guys catch the ball too. But
I mean, there's only one guy that doesn't catch the ball, and you know, It's
Well,
up
we
there
can't be
constantly,
RB1, and
and
that's
that's
just
Derrick Henry.
Well, I mean, Nick Chubb is going insanely high for a guy that sees like no targets. I don't really know where this hype for Nick Chubb has come from. I get late in the first round, but going
well, I
number
mean, Nick
4?
Chubb is. If you look at his career, he averages 5 yards a carry in his career. Like that is
No, I mean
ridiculous.
his rushing is insane, but I just hate that he has to share a little bit with Kareem Hunt. I do like the team 4 though, drafted Chubb
He's
and
not
Hunt.
sharing as much as it's like people make it seem to be. He's gonna be their RB1, and he's their main guy. Like he's gonna get 20 touches a game.
He just doesn't catch the ball to the backfield in PPR formats. It's too important. I think last
Like he's
year,
and Nick Chubb's like last year. Nick Chubb was a great running back,
I'm
and he
just
missed 4
saying,
games, and he still had 1,200, 1,300 rushing
I'm
yards.
just saying Zeke had a bad year and Zeke missed a game and a half and he still had more points than Chubb and Chubb had 6 more touchdowns. So those catches are important. They mean something. Like if your running back, if he doesn't catch the ball to the backfield, he's got to get you 1,600 rushing yards, and the only guy that's doing that's Derrick Henry.
I mean, Nick Chubb could have had 1,600 if he didn't miss 4 games, though. He had 1,312.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. I'm not in PPR formats. I don't really like guys that don't catch the ball to the backfield. But everyone sees it differently. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, I mean, I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know if you guys have anything else you want to say.
No, that's
Nah, I think
basically
that's
it.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little mock draft. Get back in the flow of things. Mock draft Monday. We'll be uploading these on Mondays. We'll have more videos out throughout the week. So.
Yeah. Like and subscribe.